Welcome back to AFTV, everyone. Welcome to the Starting 11 show. I'm here with Mr. Lee Judges, I'm here with Julian, and I'm here with Nick. Oh, do you want to shake my hand as well?
Well, shake his hand, you've got to shake mine.
Fantastic. And Nick, I'll give you a hug after the stream.
Yeah.
How are we all?
Good.
It's Brentford, it's Arsenal-Brentford. It's
Correct,
yeah.
Arsenal, that's what, don't forget about it, Arsenal.
Where's the energy? This is a chance to go top of the league, people.
100%.
Yeah.
London derby.
Yeah, this is... And I know we like to throw the revenge thing around a lot, but obviously we drew last season, the thick of a title race against them. The Ivan Toney audition, a lot of different things. You two have been bickering around, you know, how much we should or shouldn't be worrying about football matches as well. So I don't know if you want to carry that into this. But
Yeah, no, you know, anything can happen in a game of football, isn't it? Like, you know,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, but what I was saying was if you look at it rationally and take, you know, I know there's emotion involved in football, but if you look at this game rationally, as we did the last few games, Arsenal should win this game and win it well.
Yeah.
Well, we hope so.
Well, listen, our last two games, you know, I've just been speaking to Kevin Campbell, big up to Kevin, he's out of hospital now, so, you know, on the road to recovery. Turned around and said, our last two home games, Liverpool, Newcastle, smashed both of them. So
We just know football doesn't work like that,
it doesn't
but
work
you're right,
like
but
what Julian's saying is correct.
Yeah.
But there's always a but in football, otherwise no one would watch it. That's what makes
Yeah.
it so fantastic.
No.
You know, we're 2-1 up against Fulham, down to 10 men. There's only one result.
And we draw.
We draw.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
you know, that's what makes football. That's why you're nervous about the game. Look, listen, I was nervous going into Sheffield United after 10, 15 minutes. I'm going, what was I nervous for?
After the kick-off,
Yeah.
it should have been
Should have been.
secure.
Well, I was saying when that first goal went in, that should have been our third. And I'm
Yes,
not, and
it
I'm
should
not-
have been our
I'm not
third.
exaggerating when I say that. It should have been 3-0 by
Missed
the
the
time we
first
got the
two.
first.
Missed the first two. It's going to be one of those days.
Yeah, you're thinking, oh no, we're going to have a struggle here. But then within 5 minutes, Erdogan put it right. Look, everyone, we are here to react to the starting level, which will be coming out in about 27 minutes' time. There are some little news, rumours, reports, murmurs around some of the starting 11 and players that are available. So we'll discuss that, and just discuss what we want to see for the game. Partey is, of course, back with the squad. He got some miss, as did Gabriel Jesus. Martinelli, apparently rumours of a gash on the leg. We'll see how he's doing and if he's in the 11, but of course we'll be previewing all that now. You might have noticed in the top left corner, if I can point it, there it is, the purple AFTV logo. That is because we are really proud to support Level Playing Fields Unite for Access campaign. We're going to talk about it before kickoff on the watch along, but if you want to know more, AFTV have retweeted, reposted, whatever you want to call it, social media of course, via X, Twitter, we have reposted Level Playing Fields fantastic video and explanation. Their messages, attending live sport should be open to everyone, so we ask you all to unite for access. Again, we'll be talking about it more in the watch along before kickoff and at half time. Let's look ahead to this big game, everyone. I'm going to go over to you first, Nick, because it is all focus on what's in front of you, but Porto is lurking, and it's not one of those, you know, Saturday midday and Wednesday night games. There is just that day less. Okay, 2 home games in a row. Is there any part of this 11 that's going to reflect the fact that Tuesday night's coming?
I don't think so. I think Mikel Arteta has often, maybe even to his detriment in recent seasons, but often played the best possible players at you know, going with the strongest possible team at any given time. And like you say, this is a team we have had losses them a couple of seasons ago. We've had a draw against them. I think, again, he'll go with the strongest possible team. And I think with the momentum that this team's got, the amount of goals that we've scored, I think we want to see minimal changes to this team. You know, we're talking about not overreacting and thinking rationally. Rationally, we should be beating Porto, regardless of who we put out. So I don't think that we should be necessarily saving players. I think we could come to regret that. We have to go the strongest possible team today. We've been on form, scoring 3s and 4s, 5s, 6s. Keep that going.
Yeah. Julian, you see it the same way?
No, I slightly disagree.
Okay.
I slightly disagree in that I think there's going to be 2 players, other than obviously the goalkeeper, that he will look to change for different reasons. Number 1 will be Martinelli, depending on the injury. Even if it is a gash, I still think, and they heal and it's not muscular, I still think he won't want to risk Martinelli, especially in view of what can come in to replace him, because we've got such quality that we can replace him with. And the second one is Jorginho, because I think he'll probably look at Jorginho as being integral to the successes we've had over the last few weeks. And I'm not sure at Jorginho's age, he can not stand 2 games within a few days, but he might want to again replace Jorginho just to keep him back and get the best out of Jorginho on Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's the question we do.
Well, it could be time for Partey in a game like this.
Really?
He did look rusty.
Yeah.
He did look rusty, but I think a home game from the start, when you come on in a game, it can often be difficult to get the pace of the game. Whereas if you start from the beginning, I think it's a bit easier. I always found that as a substitute, it was difficult coming on and sort of getting the pace of the game straight away.
In what cup competition in particular did you find that?
In quite a few of my high level.
Back when you had the abs.
Caribbean crossbar challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the under 11s Cubs games.
Do you not think though that like if we can do what we've done like against Sheffield and other teams like that, if we can come on, start fast, get 3 or 4 goals in the first half, then Jorginho can come off like we saw previously, then those players can come off and get rested and Partey can come on there.
Well, there's no reason why with Partey in the team we can't start fast, especially the way that Partey can carry the ball and press forward.
It's the injury risk though for me. I'm really, really nervous about rushing players back from injury, and Partey has an awful injury record. If there's anyone that I would want to wrap in cotton wool the most, it'd be Thomas Partey, injury and Timber. They're the two that I really wouldn't rush back very, very, very soon ahead of time.
At some point you've got to play him, and from what I understand, physically he's there, he's fit, he's been training for 3-4 weeks now.
Okay.
So he should be fit enough to start a game, and if it's not working out, you can have 5 substitutes, you can always change it around.
Okay, what would you do about these rumours around Martinelli? Obviously he did come off, you know, we saw he couldn't really put pressure on his foot when he was coming off. I think the rumours are that it's potentially a gash that shouldn't keep him out for Porto, but maybe they don't want to take any risk for this one. So how do you play around with it? Because of course Trossard, for the form he was in, could probably count himself, unfortunately, not to be in our best 11 right now.
And you know, he could. When Martinelli did come off, he put Jesus on then. So it'd be very interesting what he does. There's 2 things he can do today, and he might well do it. If Martinelli's 100% fit, then he plays. I don't think he will be 100% fit. You know what I mean? Too short a time, 5 days. So I would look at it and go, right, how can I put it like? If this was a cup final, Martinelli would play, but it ain't a cup final. It's a big game.
Yeah.
But Tuesday is another massive game. I'd rather have Martinelli 100% ready for that game. So I feel that Martinelli will probably be on the bench, or he won't be in it today. And then does he play Jesus out there, or does he play Trossard out there?
What would you go for?
I'd go Jesus.
Okay,
but
interesting.
It's very unfair on Trossard. You know what I mean? I think you got like Jesus is a massive player for us. I really do. But as Julian says today, if he does leave Jorginho out, which he could do, he could revert to Havertz going back into the middle there and bringing in Jesus. So I think there's a couple of options for the manager.
That's a good point. The thing about Havertz is he's finally playing what I believe is his best football. And I know that a lot of fans have stuck up for him when he has played in midfield, and he's definitely got better in that area. But the times he is, for me, look like he really fits in this team, whether it's from midfield or up front, is when he's the highest player. And he's on the press and he's leading the line. Even like that goal he scored against Burnley, he played midfield that day, but he's making a forwards run and he's driving at goal and he scores. I think that's where he's playing his best football for us. He's starting to show some conviction. And I actually think at the same time as Havertz playing his best up there, the midfield balance has been better when you've got 3 players who all want the ball. Havertz is I'll get on the end of the final action. But Rice, Jorginho, Ødegaard, all pinging it between them. You can add a Partey, a Vieira, who by the way looked sharp, I thought, against Sheffield United. You got Smith Rowe, who supposedly is deserving of minutes. I just think leave Havertz up the pitch. That's what he's doing. I don't know what you guys all think.
I definitely think he's much better in the final third, much more effective in the. You're right. In the midfield, he plays a bit like a wall. You bounce the ball off of him, but he doesn't really receive it. Get on the half turn, drive it forwards. Rice is a DM. He drives the ball forwards better. Partey's a DM. He drives the ball forwards better. I think for me, Havertz right up top, and I think I would probably lean towards Trossard on the left more than Jesus. Just 'cause I think we went on a run of 7 wins, with Trossard starting.
Nick, I'm with you on it. I'm not. I'm just putting it out there, like, you know. I think Trossard has been harshly looked on, really, like, you know what I mean.
I totally agree.
You know, he was left out. I thought he'd done really well when he was playing up front, and then was left out. Listen, we're not criticising Maz. We're just saying it's harsh.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got to be some sort of mentally of top player, because I think he'd have been very, very disappointed, like, you know. And then you think, all right, I'm next in line to come on the left when Martinelli comes on, and he doesn't. He brings on Jesus. So it is a tough one, like.
That's true, but do you think that title-winning squads, when you look at everyone's happy when they're a part of a team that's winning. Maybe not forever, but certainly in the short term. When I look at teams that have won titles, there have been players that managers have just needed to do a job. Now, Trossard for me has got far too much quality for me to just see him as a do-a-job player. But to a degree, it seems like Arteta has called on him when, all right, there's a gap, fill it there. There's a gap, fill it there. There's a problem, fill it there. And Trossard is, for me, he's not always been perfect, but he's largely never let us down wherever we kind of need him to do a job.
I think that, for me, it's a hard thing to say. It's tough. I don't think Arsenal might not have won that game against Nottingham Forest when he come on for that little cameo for 10.
I get what you mean.
He was like,
he was phenomenal.
He was
wasn't he?
unbelievable in that 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes he come on. That got him into the next game, and he's done really, really well. So, but
and against Liverpool, you think that the touch and turn away from, was it Trent or I can't remember who, and then he goes on and scores.
And he's been brilliant. But I also think that to win the league, you need players like that. You know what I mean? If you look at, I reckon, you know, like the Ben Whites and the Odegaards and the ones that are in, you know, nailed on, they're all look at that and go, wow, I'm glad we've got Trossard, because they know that you can come in and do a job. You need those squad players of high quality, and he has got that.
Yeah.
But the other thing you need to win the league, and something he needs to consider, is that you don't want to make too many changes. So he might be as good, but the more changes you make, the more you could potentially lose that momentum.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So he might just be losing out because he'd be the third change, whereas you only really want to make two. So even though he could quite easily slot in and be as good as the player he's replacing, by replacing three players rather than two, then you lose that fundamental
I think
momentum.
the way I see it is, what's the gap between this game and Sheffield United? 5 days. There's a 9-day gap between that. Who do we play for? Newcastle. Was there 9 days? 9 days between Newcastle.
Yeah, Saturday and Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then how long was the gap between Newcastle, Porto? Maybe 3-4 days. Like, the point I'm making is, Arsenal haven't been playing, you know, basically 3 games a week. There's actually still been a nice sort of break between fixtures. It's not like Liverpool. It feels like every 2 days they're just back on your TVs, back playing. So for me, I think Arteta's got to go with what he believes right now is his best 11. And you think about Porto at 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I can't see him just thinking.
No, but that's the criminal thing.
He's going to be thinking about it now.
That's the criminal thing is, if you make changes today and you slip up, then it's just a criminal. Then it's criminal. So his selection, he'll concentrate on today's game. There's no two ways about it. But if we are winning 3 or 4-0 today, which I'm not saying that we are, but if we are, he's automatically then thinking of Tuesday, like, you know. Yeah. And I do think that Tuesday, the one decision that he'll think about Tuesday is Martinelli. I don't think he'll do it any other way. Like, I don't think he'll be worrying about whether Jorginho can play or whatever, like, you know, because I think there's other players to come in there, like, you know. But if we're 2 or 3-0 up, Jorginho, right, off you come. I'm bringing on Partey, and I'm going on to Tuesday, like, you know. It's you know. It's like, because, you know, when you think about it, Porto played last night, didn't they? I don't know how they got. Do you know how they got on? I don't know how they got on.
I know they slapped Benfica the other day.
But they've given the extra day, like, you know. They could have actually, like, Premier League give us the morning slot this morning, would have been a little bit helped us out a little bit more, because it is Tuesday that we're playing. But listen,
they probably don't care.
They don't care now. We just I don't think, you know. He's got enough time. He's got enough time to recover. I like the other thing that Arsenal are doing now, like going to the Emirates on a Friday now and training, and then going to the hotel instead of, you know, going in the morning. They're doing all different things now, and everything's working. And you have to think to yourself, well, I quite like those, you know, being inventive, like, you know.
Do you think it makes a difference to train at the ground? Because from what I understand about the training ground, they've made the pitches exactly the same dimensions and used exactly the same grass.
The only thing
there's no difference there.
The only thing I think is difference is they train in the morning, right, and then they travel to the hotel, and then they're sitting in the hotel. So what he's done is he's put training back to the afternoon, so they train there, and then they could go straight to the hotel. It's nothing like on the actual. Just the timing of it, I think, like, you know. I think
because it's closer to the hotel here.
Yeah, closer to the hotel.
Yeah, I would also think that
players
it's a bit like
in.
This isn't a great comparison, but it's probably the closest I can think to at the moment is in F1 they have simulators, right? And that simulator is designed to recreate as best as possible the racetrack, the feeling you have in the car, whatever. But it will never ever be the same as the actual thing. Now, normal training in the ground, but I'm sure training at the Emirates makes a lot more different. Well, we'll feel a lot closer to the real thing than training at, because it's all.
It will only feel closer if there's a crowd there, because the pitches are exactly the same dimensions and exactly the same.
I think
grass.
it's everything. I think it's just your perception of, I get the ball, I turn, and you see the stands. It's
The familiarity.
That's it. Yeah.
I think so. And we know he's. People laughed in the dock when he played the "You'll Never Walk Alone" before the Liverpool game and stuff. But we know Arteta's very focused on that mental, emotional side of the football game, that mental preparation as much as possible. And that's where we've been attacked as a team, and people say we're lacking the mentality because we've got a young team. Just to try to recreate, you're right, it's not going to be the same without a crowd. I wouldn't even put it past him to pump crowd music into that training session. You get crowd noises, you never know, but just try to recreate that as close as possible so that when you do get a half turn and look up, it looks exactly like what it looked like yesterday, and you can hit that goal. And that, for me, I think, if we've got Havertz up top and we go long to Havertz, he normally is getting much better with link-up play, bringing the players around him in, and he does get goals, but he gets a lot of other people in the team goals. And the reason I would start Trossard again is he is one of the cleanest strikers at the football club. If he's going to, especially Jay-Z who's coming back from injury, if we go long to Havertz and he lays it off to someone on the edge of the box who's about to run up and strike it, I want that to be Trossard every time.
Yeah, fair enough. We do have some news coming in from Tom Canton that Bukayo Saka and Alexander Zinchenko have arrived with the team. That's good news. Of course, Bukayo Saka wasn't feeling well, came off at half-time against Sheffield United, and Zinchenko's been missing for quite a while. I think Liverpool was the last time we saw him, and he came off in that game. So good to know that he's available. No news on Tomiyasu as far as I'm aware, but the 11 will be out in about 12 minutes. Got a super chat from Meshugaho, hope I pronounced that correctly, and a very generous super chat, by the way. Thank you very much. Says, I'd love there to be an Invincibles special talking about what it was like to follow Arsenal in the 80s, George Graham era, the players, managers, what it was like to be a fan. Are you saying on AFTV that we talk about it? I think
it's mentioned Invincibles because we're all in our 50s.
Fair enough.
And we're all there in the 80s.
I wasn't.
Yeah, but
born 95.
Yeah.
I do think and it's a big if.
I'd love to do that.
If we get over the line this season with one of the big ones, it feels so premature to do it now, because when a team hasn't won it, you can't really be comparing to some of your greater sides. But if we do get over the line in the Premier League or the Champions League, I would love a conversation with, and I'm not talking this in a patronising way, with people who have seen, 89, who've seen the Invincibles, who've seen, just to be like, how does it compare? Like, what are this team tactically better but physically worse? Which team? And because right now it's easy to go, oh, no player now starts the Invincibles. I get it, because the Invincibles won it and did it. But if we ever go over the line, I'd just love to see how we reflect on this group.
It all depends on the time frame you look at. But the football we've played this year, since they came back from Dubai, I've never seen at this level in it. But it's a very short, we've played, what is it, seven, eight games. Yeah. I've not seen us at that level ever. I don't know what you've...
No, I agree. But the one thing that's different at this moment to the other teams that have won the league is that you have to go and win the league. You have to, it's not going to be given to you, right? And I look at all those teams in the past, gone to Man United when Man United were in their pomp and beaten Man United, gone to Chelsea when they were beating them, This team's not done that yet. So, for me, win today and then see what you can do at Man City. Can you go to Man City?
That'd be special.
And do it, And it's very, very similar, this at the moment, very, very similar to the 98 side, We're developing, weren't too sure if it could do it and all that, and then they went to Old Trafford, beat them up.
Yeah.
And then you come away from there and you went, yeah, this is the real deal. Arsenal, at this moment in time, they're blowing teams away. People on Sky Sports and pundits and all that still like Man City, still Man City. If you go to Man City, I swear to you now, if we go there and we beat them, all of those pundits will change their mind. Whoa.
Yeah.
That is the key. And Arsenal have done that. You have a look at the history of the 2002, went to Liverpool, won at Liverpool, went to Man United, won, went to the big teams in 98, 2004, exactly the same. Haven't quite done that yet. We've gone to Liverpool and got a draw. We've still got to go to Man United.
Yeah, that
win
could be,
win those 3 games. I know, like, it's a big ask, but you're winning the title then. You're winning it.
We have three big 6 away days, don't we? I think we've got Spurs and both Manchester clubs, so those are going to be the games.
Yeah, that'll be fascinating.
But we've put ourselves in a position where potentially at the end of the season we can be having that conversation. I can be sat here saying,
100%.
saying that is the best team I've ever seen. At the moment, I can't say that. All I can say is over a short period of time, they're playing the best football I've ever seen. Sure. But it's a very short period of time.
This team could become the best. And I'll tell you why it could, because as great as the Invincible are, Martin Keown said it the other day, they should have won the European Cup as well. Yeah. They didn't.
And
there
the
was
FA
times,
Cup.
and the FA Cup.
Bergkamp was that penalty away.
Yeah, in 99. There was times when Arsenal, I felt, as good as Arsenal were, I felt a little bit undercooked with it, because I felt, well, we should have done more with that team, should have done more. This team here was, for instance, to go and win the league and the European Cup, it would go down as the greatest team.
Well, it's buts and maybes, but listen, we're all ambitious. And we know that squad is, so let's see what they can do. But it all starts with Brentford today. Callum, thank you for correcting my incredibly stupid moment. He says they've got you guys have a podcast called the Invincible Podcast. That's what they mean. So Meshugaho, who's saying that he wants an Invincible special, is talking about wanting to talk about the 80s. And
could certainly do that once the international breaks on. That was something we put to Robbie.
Do not worry.
We do put suggestions to Robbie.
And he ignores every single one.
He bats them down like an opening bat for England.
Cabinet.
Yeah, but that wasn't that.
Straight back, they call him. Straight back Lyle.
Yeah, I just came out with that. I had them hidden behind the sofa.
Good on you. Good on you. What other update do we have? That was it. We've caught up on the super chats. Now, the thing I do want to talk about, as we are 7 minutes away from the 11 being unveiled, we know one player who is set to play, unless there's an injury, is Aaron Ramsdale. Big moment for him, because
I've been playing the song on the way down.
Have you?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
You want to sing it?
Aaron Ramsdale. Well, obviously the song, but the real song.
You get to enjoy Arsenal again today because you're best friends in goal.
I'm buzzing for it, like, you know. Nervous. I think maybe a little bit nervous because of that.
I have to say,
because Raya's been, I think at the end of the day, the last few games, apart from Porto, because I still think he should have maybe done that, has been perfect in goal for us.
Yeah, I think he's been brilliant, and this is where I feel. I don't say I do feel sorry for Ramsdale in the sense that I thought he was a good goalkeeper. No one felt he needed replacing. Clearly, Arteta and the coaching staff did, and now we're in this situation. But he's been dropped in the middle of it, where he's playing once every 2-3 months at the moment. Yeah, once every 2 months maybe, and his job is to ensure that our superb defensive record, the structure, and the thing is, people might go, James is a goalkeeper, like how much impact can he have? But
Massive.
The confidence that you exude for the people in front of you to take up the positions they take up, to do everything. When do you remember that game with Sheffield United with 3 on goal? I think we were 3-0 up, to be fair. And I think the flag went up, but they allowed it to play. Yeah. Did any of you think for 1 second Sheffield United was scoring? I didn't.
No, we said that.
And I sat there going, there you go. Thank you, Darren. And now Sheffield United 2-0 up. Look at that.
And the flag didn't go up. Yeah. It only went up after.
Exactly. But so
that's the confidence you get from having Raya in goal. Yeah.
And I reckon Saliba and Gabriel were thinking the same.
Yeah.
We've done our high line. He's probably off. David will deal with this.
Yeah.
And that's Ramsdale's going to have to go straight into that.
The thing with Aaron Ramsdale today is, and I just hope he just doesn't have hardly anything to do, because it's he's a bit he's going to be rusty. He hasn't played since Liverpool. You know what I mean? That was in the beginning of January, wasn't it? In the FA Cup. Hasn't played since.
Yeah.
So he's not.
He played very well. I will say.
He played very well in that game, but he's not had any game since. So, any little, and there could be a couple of little dodgy moments for him today, and that's what will happen when the other day I see Thomas Partey give away the ball 3 times in the game. He didn't do that all season last year.
I know, it's true.
What I mean? Why? Because he's rusty.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I've got there. And we were saying it at half time, was going around a lot at half time at Sheffield United, bring him on, give him some minutes in that game. But listen, I like what Mikel said about it today. He's given them the confidence, you know. And I think there ain't no pressure on today. You've got one game. It's not like you know what's going to happen on Tuesday. Just go there and my advice to him, go and enjoy it.
But also, who the hell are we to complain when Brentford have a whole heap of injuries apparently? The likes of Ethan Pinnock, Ben Mee, all expected to be missing, Rico Henry, Brian and Burma in their front line, who's, for me, their most dangerous player alongside Ivan Toney. So really, like, we hope everything goes right. If it doesn't, we can't be sitting there going, oh, David Raya. Brentford will be going, are you kidding?
Yeah. So, I mean, there is so many reasons when you look at it why Arsenal should win and Brentford should lose. I mean, all the stats would indicate a big Arsenal win. But then if you look back at Brentford's recent results, I mean, they have lost most of the games. In fact, other than Chelsea last
2-1
last week, they've lost something like 4 of the last 5. But other than the City game, which only lost by 1 goal, when you actually look at the stats within the games, they weren't that far apart. Even West Ham had a similar amount of shots on target. Liverpool, they got beaten 4-1, a similar amount of shots on target. They always concede possession, but the stats would indicate that they're not that far away. And the teams that they've played have been good teams. They've played Liverpool, Man City in that run.
Yeah.
And they've got an excellent manager as well.
Well, this is it. I think Thomas Frank's a really good manager. Really. I think, I don't mean to be disrespectful to Brentford at all. I've got so much time for Brentford. If I had to have a second club, it'd be them, and that's for personal reasons. But Thomas Frank, for me, I'd love to see what he can do, whether it's with Brentford or someone else in terms of getting into Europe. I'd then love to see he kicks on. Then love to see him with a club with some money. I think he's a really, really, really good coach.
And a manager you can listen to all day long. When
he's
talks.
brilliant
Honest.
in press conference, yeah.
I think he's brilliant.
Yeah.
I really do. I really do like him.
Yeah. He's top.
But they do have big weaknesses at the moment, and one of them is defending crosses. You look at, I think, the last 2 games, they've conceded 3 headed goals. In this season, they've conceded 15, which is 3 more.
Brentford?
Brentford, which is 3 more than the second place team.
Okay. He's been doing his research.
They've got.
He does it every time.
They've got the whole back line out.
To come on Tactical Insight.
I would. I love it. It's a brilliant show.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind.
Yeah.
There you go. And big up to Nick, who's obviously contributed before as well.
Yeah, it's my second best show after everything I'm in.
Oh, good on you. So your fan cams, your highlights, your Invincible, fair enough. We do have a clip from an interview we did with Martin Keown. Yesterday, Robbie and I got the chance to meet him. I can't lie, I was pretty nervous meeting an Arsenal legend, but it was great to chat to him. He had some really great stuff to say. Here's a little clip from the interview.
But the overall group they can't rest. It's eat, breathe, sleep football. For between now and the end of the season, you have to love the situation you're in. You don't fear it, you love it. You play your whole career to be in a 3-horse race with those two. You know, everyone talking about Klopp and Pep. Okay, we won't see it again after this weekend. Maybe they get to a cup final, I don't know. But, you know, we've got the next man on the block, haven't we? And there's a lot of good coming forward in the future, but it's in the present. You have to be competitive. You have to win something. I'd dearly love to see, in the 20th anniversary this year, Arsenal to win the Premier League. That would be the dream. We talked about it at the start of the season, quietly, away from the publicity that surrounds every time you open your mouth about Arsenal. I just think they're in the race. Whether they win it or not, I've backed City to do it. I've not changed my mind on that, but I'll tell you what, Arsenal are making a real fight of it, and that's what we want as Arsenal fans. We're back in the race.
He's right, we're making a real fight of it, and in 1 minute we're going to find out what the 11 is to go out and
what a player, by the way.
keep it going. Oh yeah,
what centre-half he was.
Yeah, top stuff. Hayne with the super chat says, hello James and Lee Fruition judges. We did have our fun.
Yeah, we did, you know, can't make a mistake early morning.
That's sleep deprivation for you.
I blame Jordan for the 8 AM starts. So
yeah.
But yeah, everyone go check out that interview with Martin Keown. It is out now on the channel. We talked all things Brentford game, but really as well looking ahead to the Champions League. And I asked him a question. You know, I asked him, would he have one defeat in the Invincible season to have won the Champions League? He said no. He said, I'm not going to live with any regrets for what he did in his career, and rightly.
It was a good interview, I'll tell you. He's an interesting bloke. He's very, very good to talk about, and he's been there, done it. He knows exactly what's expected of a title-winning player playing for the Arsenal. And listen to what he was saying was spot on.
Yeah, and also he treated Van Nistelrooy with the contempt that he deserved.
Do you know what he treated? he treated most centre forwards with contempt and all that, like, you know.
I love that.
Do we got to do to win?
Yeah.
We've got the 11, everyone. Ramsdale obviously in goal as expected. Same back four of White, Saliba, Gabriel and Kivior. And interestingly, the midfield is unchanged, which is what I love to see. Rice, Jorginho and Ødegaard. Trossard does come in for Martinelli, Saka and Havertz leads the line. A bench of Hein, Cedric, Zinchenko, Partey, Vieira, Smith Rowe, Nelson, Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus. What a pleasure to read a proper bench and to be able to fill that bench without Martinelli still, without Tomiyasu, without Timber.
Is Zinchenko on the bench?
Yeah.
But
So,
Martinelli isn't.
Martinelli is
I think Martinelli, they've done the right thing now.
Yeah, I think so.
I like that. Yeah.
So Trossard, so to sum up, Trossard comes in for Martinelli. Ramsdale, of course, needs to play as David Raya's cup tie. We haven't actually mentioned what cup tie was called. He's ineligible to play because he's a lone player.
It's an interesting thing is that maybe when he was bringing him on, he brought Jesus on because obviously he wanted to get Jesus minutes.
Yeah.
Right, where Trossard was there, he might have said to him, look, you know, if Martinelli, just as you're going on there, don't get downhearted. If Martinelli ain't making it on Saturday, you will start. You know what I mean? Like, and
I also think, like I said, players coming back from injury, still at a high risk of repeat injuries. You want to get them on the pitch in an ideal situation.
Yeah,
you can't always do this, but in an ideal situation, when you're already up and they ain't got to necessarily fly into challenges and bust a gut and all the rest of it, and you know, and hopefully, like Julian said, with all the indications, if we can go 3-4 up, then I fully expect to see these players coming on and getting their minutes.
what's the great thing about that? We've got a big, massive game on Tuesday night, and we've made one change, which is forced.
Yeah. Oh, well, because
We've made
Two that have been forced. Sorry, yeah.
I'm just gonna drop this. So I was on BBC.
Right.
Oh.
Well, no one going to clap. Oh,
That's brilliant.
come
Well
on.
done, James.
He's on BBC.
Yeah.
What?
What,
World
EastEnders?
Service Radio.
Oh, right. I
Yeah.
thought he might have been on them.
No round of applause. Oh,
I
you
clap.
haters.
I clap.
Unbelievable. Thank you. Thank you.
I thought he might have been on CBBC's.
Right, thank you very much. They asked me if there was a situation. There's a reason I'm telling you all this. Not
Yeah.
just-
Oh well.
Right.
Please do.
They asked me if it was a situation where we had to prioritise Premier League or Champions League. Do you think that would come? How would you feel? What would Arteta do? And my answer was, to be honest, that would be pretty unacceptable to me because we've fallen out of all the other cups really early. We haven't ever won the Champions League. We haven't won the Premier League in 20 years. For me, there is no prioritising. Your best 11 goes out and you treat
Both
the
games,
Champions
yeah.
League
Exactly the
game
same.
like it were the next game in the Premier League title running.
Yeah.
You just keep playing your best team and you go through because if we just won the Carabao Cup and we were getting ready for a FA Cup quarter-finals, I'd understand we have to rotate and mix, and you know you've got to manage everyone's minutes. But for me, we've not played anywhere near enough football for me to think,
there's a flip
oh, we've
side.
got to start.
There's a flip side to that, in as much as our squad is good enough to be able to bring players in, just like Trossard, and not necessarily weaken it. So you can play different players without necessarily weakening the team.
And
Fine.
That's a great point. But
fine.
I'll go back to the 2004, right? Yeah. We had, I'll tell you our run, we had our 3 games were the FA Cup, Champions League, Liverpool in the league, right? We go to FA Cup semi-final, we made 7 or 8 changes, we end up losing to Man United because he was worried about the Champions League game on the Tuesday. We lost against Chelsea and we then went on being unvisible. But I still say, that if he'd have put out a strong team and beat Man United that day, we would have gone on and beat Chelsea and whatever. Momentum. And I think that is a key thing
the squad
going
wasn't,
forward.
The squad then wasn't as strong. If you looked at the bench of the Invincibles, well, it wasn't as big then for a start, but and our kind of what you would consider our squad players now, I think we're a lot stronger than we've ever been from squad depth.
You know what that reminds me of? It's not comparable to what the Invincibles and what you said, but when we went to City in the FA Cup, we all went last season, and we got knocked out, we lost 1-0. We played okay, to be fair.
Played very well that
but
day.
We were then winless in the 3 after that. And for me, it was a bit of a momentum kick. Whereas actually, we should have gone punch for punch, and we should have said to City, here's our best, let's see your best before we dance in the Premier League. And we didn't. And that's why I love, and I thought Clive was brilliant on the overlap when he said that the Community Shield win was really important because
100%.
everyone laughed at us for just, you're celebrating the Community Shield. But he made such a great point. what game this season against City and Liverpool have we been outplayed in? Community Shield, no, we were the better team. City at the Emirates, we were the better team. Liverpool in all 3 games, I think we were the better team. Maybe at Anfield you could say it was even.
Yeah, very even.
But I don't think we were outplayed in that game.
No, not at all.
And this has all been the belief that's fueled, so I think you've got to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, do you know what? Maybe he's learnt from that. From that, because
I was going to say, I think
I didn't think it was a mistake at the time. I actually thought we played really, really well in that first half, and I think Thomas Partey went off at half time, and we lost it. You know, but it was a decent 1-0 defeat. We walked out of the ground thinking, right, we're going to be back here in so-and-so and we're going to take you, like, you know. But I look back on that now and I think that maybe we should have flexed our muscles against them a little bit.
Yeah. And let's just give you the Brentford 11 to round off. Flecken in goal. And to be fair, it's hard to tell whether this is going to be I think it's going to be a back 5. So I think it's Zanka, Asia and Collins as the 3 centre-backs, I think. Roslev and I think Lewis Potter probably as the wing-backs. Lewis Potter's really a winger, but I think he'll probably play as a wing-back. Norgard, Onyeka, Yarnell as a 3 with Wissa and Tony up front. Obviously, Tony, we know that he just does well against Arsenal and I expect him to, you know, want to perform again today. Wissa scored against Chelsea. He's a good pacey option. I think he causes more problems naturally than Mopé, but I know Mopé's going to score now that I've said that. They've got pretty much one of their best midfield 3s out there in Norgard, Onyeka, Yarnell, maybe Jensen, who's on the bench, would be there. But otherwise, it's really at the back where they've clearly lost out. The likes of Reguilon not available, the likes of Rico Henry. Who's the other one? Hickey as well. Yeah, Ben Mee, and who's the other centre-back? Pinnock. So their back line's been decimated a little bit, but they've still got good players in Collins, Asia and Zanka.
It's been decimated, it's not a little bit. Their whole back 4's out.
Yeah, fair enough. Can't disagree with that. So an opportunity there, but like I said, a front 5 or a midfield and strike partnership that can cause us problems as well. Let's do some score predictions. Nick?
4-1.
I think we know what's coming. They really haven't got many options, so they're going to sit back, not that low, maybe a mid-block. They're going to try and hit long for Tony, who normally peels off to the full-backs, but our full-backs are centre-halves as well, so I don't think he's going to get much change out of them. I think even if they were to scrape a goal, with their record of, I think it's like 28 points given away from winning positions, I think we'll still go on to win 3 or 4-1. But I think they'll probably score.
I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal.
I thought you went 3-0 in the...
No, I said 3-1 on phone.
Did you?
Yeah, because Turkish got really upset because I stole his.
Oh yeah, he went 3-0, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna be bold and say 4-0.
Fair enough. Daniel saying 3-1. Silencio saying 4-0 Arsenal. SMG with a 4-0. Vig saying a 2-1. Apparently Matisse is streaming F1. Yeah, listen, he's got to find other things to enjoy. Chelsea aren't doing it for him at the moment. Bless his heart. Go subscribe to Matisse, fantastic at what he does. Starkid says 3-0, 2-1 for Shackville. Thinks it'll be a bit tighter. Fade as well, saying a 2-1, as does, Romeo's gone for a 3-1. So lots of different scores coming in. All right, everyone, that's been the Starting 11 show. Go enjoy the game, everyone. Go sing your hearts out. We need the Emirates to be loud. It's an opportunity for Arsenal to go top of the league and to... make a big statement. Just take top spot before City and Liverpool face each other. And of course, we'll be telling you all about our hashtag Unite for Access, which we're supporting here on AFTV before the watch along. Level Playing Field's fantastic campaign to make the game more accessible to everyone. We'll be talking about that in the watch along as well. Catch you all in a bit.